Good evening and Merry Christmas. I am Steve Jobman. I'm the artistic director here at Preston Hollow Presbyterian Church. And on behalf of the staff and the session and the entire congregation, we welcome you here to be with us this evening. If any of you live in the Dallas area and have no church home here, we would invite you to visit us in the next couple days. We have a Christmas music Sunday this coming Sunday at 11 p.m., double brass quintet, percussion, the 150 voice sanctuary choir. So we would love to have you be a part of that. We also will have Christmas Eve services. We have a string orchestra on 7 and 9 p.m. with the sanctuary choir. So we would love to see you back if that fits in your Christmas schedule. We are so honored to host this group tonight. There are 3 ringers within the choir who also ring in the sanctuary ringers of Preston Hollow Presbyterian Church. And even more so than that, we're so proud that the director of this group, Stephanie Rhodes, is also the director of worship and music here at Preston Hollow. So on behalf of all of us, we welcome you here tonight. I would take a moment to ask you to be sure to silence your phone and be sure and take off any ringers, because the only ringing we want is from the handbells tonight. There will be a love offering taken later in the concert, and that will be announced here from the stage. Would you please help me welcome the Concert Bells of Fort Worth.
Thank you so much. I feel like this is a homecoming concert after having been on a little bit of a tour because it's our fourth and final performance of this holiday season. That, of course, was Ding Dong Merrily on High, maybe a bit cliche for the opening of a handbell concert, but you've got to admit it's very different from most of those arrangements that you've heard. It is a brand new arrangement that was just published and under the creative hand of Matthew Compton. We're going to change things up a little bit, and we're going to take a trip to Puerto Rico. And this is a lesser-known carol. Pastores a Belén is about the shepherds making their way to Bethlehem to see the nativity and to find out what has happened. And so it's a little bit repetitive, which makes it kind of fun. It was originally part of Leroy Anderson's suite for carols, the first suite that he did, and it was early on, you know, he was part of the Boston Pops and wrote a lot for them. And he wanted to feature carols that were not as well known to make them better known. And through the use of records, he thought people would hear them. Yeah, nowadays we're live streaming, we're doing MP3s, etc. But records were, of course, the thing back in the 50s. So this is a transcription of Leroy Anderson's setting by Martha Lynn Thompson. When I programmed this concert using the theme A Little Night Music, a little play on Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik, I did not know that this next piece would fit so well with our repertoire because it was commissioned months before we started our fall rehearsal. Cindy Carm approached the composer Michael Glasgow and asked him to write a piece, and she had some certain parameters. Well, let me just read a little bit of this, how this evolved. It was commissioned by Cindy as a piece that could evoke the cold of winter without being a holiday song. Solace is the story of a pure-hearted protagonist's quest for peace and rest. The listeners and performers are invited to reflect upon their own life stories as the music carries us through optimism and confusion, tension and resolution, dashed hopes and uplifting assurances. Michael says, I composed the end of the piece long before I had written much of the main material, as I was inspired by Cindy's vision that the music draws to a close with a sense of relief and release. She imagined it being the sound your heart makes when you finally figure things out, and that resonated strongly with him. This piece is a journey into a harsh winter, forging a path through the cold months of long nights until we reach the renewing warmth of spring, a strikingly simple yet ubiquitously resonant metaphor. I believe that piece will be published. Yes? Yes. I say that because we have Choristers Guild representatives here in the room, and I don't want to spill the beans if it's not been finalized, but we're very excited that we have contributed another piece to the repertoire in the handbell world. So thanks to Cindy and to Michael for this inspiration. Next up is a well-known Appalachian carol, I Wonder as I Wander. If you don't know a little bit of the history, John Jacob Niles was at an evangelical gathering back in the early 30s, and he heard a little girl sing this very haunting melody, and she must have sung it just over and over 6, 7, 8 times. And so after the revival, he found her and asked her to sing it for him, and he would write it down every time she sang it and gave her a quarter each time. He built the song around just that line that she sang, and we know it today in its form, I Wonder as I Wander. This particular arrangement is not recently published, but it's special to us because we lost the composer and arranger of this piece, Arnold Sherman, earlier this year. And so he is one of our handbell saints, and we'd like to dedicate this to him. Isn't that just gorgeous? Yeah. It's always been one of my favorite carols because of its melancholiness. And we're going to smash that one with this next one. It's a very jaunty piece. To begin with, the tune, known frequently as Geneva 42 or Genevan 42, is in many hymnals. It was written back in the 19th century, and it's been come to be attached to the words, "Comfort, comfort now my people," or "Comfort, comfort ye my people," depending on how it is in your hymnal. It was translated from the German by Catherine Winkworth. This arrangement is also brand new. It is from the creative pen of Jason Krug, who always throws something special in. Not only is the original kind of this unmetered, irregular beat, Jason has made it so we are constantly having to be on our toes to figure out, is it in 5/4 here, or is it 6/4? Is it, oh, it's back to 5/4, oh, it's in 6/4, and it just changes all the way through the piece. Hopefully we will end together. But I know some of you are wondering about all of the equipment. We have a lot of chimes that we're using this evening. We have these very large aluminum chimes in the back, aluminum bass bells. They are bigger, but they're lighter than their equivalent in bronze. They're also about half as much. So when you purchase them, you don't have to spend all of your savings. And in churches, we don't have a lot of savings, let's be honest. And I think they're ready, so I'm going to stop talking now and let you listen to this fun piece. You probably have noticed that they move around between the pieces, and that is for a variety of reasons. If we had the same people ringing these bass bells all the time, their arms would probably get a little bit tired. Now, some of them enjoy ringing in those low bass positions a lot, and others want to check them out. So in some of those pieces, we give them a little challenge to learn how it is to ring bass bells. Also, they just like the challenge of playing a different position. So we move a little bit here and a little bit there, and sometimes it's because the piece that we played, they used to play in a different position, so we pull it out and they play that position again. We rehearse on Tuesday evenings throughout much of the school year in Bedford at Emmanuel Presbyterian Church, and we borrow their 5-octave set of handbells. We own pretty much the rest, all of the lumen bells, the little tiny, tiny bells you'll hear in a few pieces, all of the bass chimes, all of the aluminum bells as well. So we're very grateful that they allow us to use both the bells and the space. So next up, not a Christmas piece, but a beautiful nighttime piece. Nocturne is a word for nighttime, and Chopin wrote many nocturnes. His influence is evident in this original piece by Karen Buckwalter. And this piece has been around for many years, but it's a gorgeous piece, and everyone should hear it at least once. It's been a favorite of mine since I first played it back in 1994. At this point, I'm going to invite our president, Cindy Carm, to come up and say a few words to you. She is the second ever president of Concert Bells, and this is our 26th year. The original president was also the founder, and she retired at the end of May.
Thank you. Hey, I am Cindy Carmen. I am the president of Concert Bells of Fort Worth. So, yay! Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening, and thank you to everyone who's watching online on our live stream. Very excited to have all of you here. And, we were talking about night music and Christmas time, and I always think of Christmas wishes and Christmas dreams, and maybe that's sugar plums dancing in your head. I don't know. For me, I've had 2 Christmas wishes already come true this year. I'm really killing it, I think. The first one, you've already heard. It was Solace that you got to hear first, performed by Concert Bells, and I'm so ecstatic about this piece and how it came together and getting to play it. So that was my big Christmas wish come true. Glad y'all got to hear that. And my second Christmas wish that came true, you guys, Concert Bells was on the radio. Right? How cool is that? So we got ourselves on WRR. I submitted a recording. They like to feature local groups, so I thought, well, why not? So I sent Vinny Emmanuel by Fred Grayman, a recording that you can find on our CDs for sale out in the lobby for $15. And WRR picked it up, and we're so excited that we know of 3 times on the radio during prime time. So I feel like we have made it, y'all. Like, that is just the pinnacle for a recording artist radio play. So you can tell everyone you knew us when. So appreciate that. And certainly appreciate all of your support. And I have one more Christmas wish to share with you. And this isn't mine. This belongs to our treasurer, Ashley. And Ashley says, you know what my Christmas wish is? I want to send out even more of those really fancy IRS tax deduction letters this year. Isn't that great? Y'all, we have to make Ashley's wish come true. She'll be the one blushing behind me, pretty sure. So we are going to pass a plate. I invite our ushers to come forward and do that. And we appreciate all the support that you have. We do have some expenses here. And also, I want to point out that we have partnered with Zeffy, so we can now gleefully take credit card donations. And I know for some people, 2 special words, cash back, also important with your credit card donations, or for me, airline miles, because I like to travel. But that QR code is on the back of your program and also on the friend sheet and out front. So we really appreciate all of your support. That really helps make this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy. Just make sure she gets no more caffeine today. Yeah. We're going to play a better-known Puerto Rican carol for you. This is translated as From a Distant Home, and it's about the wise men traveling to come find the Christ child. And 3 Kings Day, or Epiphany, is a big celebration in Latin America and in Spanish-speaking countries. So here's going to be a little extra flair of dance music. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is from the movie Meet Me in St. Louis. It has been performed and arranged by hundreds of people. You might have a recording that you like the best. This setting is by Joel Rainey, who is well known among handbell ringers because he tends to write things that are kind of jazzy with optional instrumentation, whether it's percussion, bass guitar, synthesizer, strings. We performed one of his We Three Kings arrangements here at Preston Hollow, and it was a lot of fun. Well, this one's a little bit different. We do have some percussion that you will hear, and you'll also hear the jazzy arrangement, the influence of Joel's background. It's kind of indicated that it should be bolero style. So if you know Ravel's Bolero, you might know where this is headed. That's Carolyn Mazel back there playing the part of Dick Van Dyke. It's appropriate because she is currently, she's been the director of the Denton Community Band for many years, and she retired a few years ago from teaching middle school band in Strickland Middle School in Denton. So she deserves a special medal or sainthood for all of that, right? Yeah. But thank goodness she did it, because without middle schoolers learning to play, we would not have music when they get older. So thank you for all that you have done to create that. In this next setting of a well-known carol, it's probably on the top 1 or 2 in the list. If you ask people, what's the best, or what's your favorite Christmas carol? Many people will name this one and Silent Night up there in the top 3 or 4. Sandy Ethan has done a very creative thing with this. You will hear not only the stars twinkling at night, some interesting harmonizations, but if you listen carefully, you'll hear some snippets of well-known carols tucked away in there. I'll give you a couple of hints. One of them is Joy to the World, and the other one I know you're going to find, but it's Silent Night. It comes in toward the end. And this is the piece where we use all the bass chimes, the lowest note that we have, all the way up to the one of the highest notes that we have. We have a G8 that will be ringing. We sometimes call those dog whistles. You'll probably hear a little ping when they go off. But I hope you enjoy this as much as we have enjoyed preparing it. You have been a fantastic audience. I knew you would be, but I just want you to know that you are. The way that you soak in that final moment, the notes just lingering in the air, so thank you for that. I want to say thank you to all of the folks here at Preston Hollow who've come out to support us today, and those of you who are attending your very first Handbell concert. Thank you for trying something new. We do have some stocking stuffers, as Cindy mentioned earlier. We've got some Christmas CDs, and the piece that was on the radio, Veni Veni Emmanuel, is on that CD as well. So if you would like to take that home with you, you heard it on the radio, and that's where you can get it. Incidentally, it is by the same composer as this final piece, Everlasting Light. And Everlasting Light is two well-known tunes. One is a chant based on Creator of the Stars of Night, and the other is a chorale, O morning star, how fair and bright. If you don't know them by name, you will hear in the very, very beginning these big chords followed by snippets of the chant. Each chord progression is followed by another part of the chant, and then it's woven into much of the piece. There will be a pause about halfway through, and we will go into the chorale. And in the way that Fred does, he will put the two together at the end for a big finish. So this is Everlasting Light. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. We do have one thing up our sleeve. It's completely different than anything we've played here, but totally appropriate for Texas. It's called Carolers Hoedown. You can probably imagine where this is going. And it's a medley of snippets of several carols. You can count them. And it's a setting by Valerie Stevenson, another Handbell saint that we lost this past year. She was living in Florida, but she is well known across the globe for her many different arrangements. Many of them are humorous, but she wrote some really lovely, serious pieces too. So we leave you with Carolers Hoedown. Please don't hold it against us. Thank you. Thank you so much. That'll teach me to leave that whistle on my stand unattended. Yeah. If you like what you heard today and you want to take a piece home with you, we can point you to the atrium where we have some CDs. Also, please fill out that form that was in your program, and we will put you on our email list or our mailing list. You'll get a little postcard announcing that. Of course, you can always find us on the website, concertbells.com. Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming today, and may you have safe and peaceful holidays. If you would like to come out and see some of the equipment, we can do a handbell petting zoo.